Why was the number 6 so frightened? Because 7, 8, 9. Take a minute for that one. Okay, we're going to be carrying on with maths this week, and I am trying something a bit different. I'm trying it with an earphone in because I'm hoping you'll be able to hear it a little bit better. I know sometimes it can be a bit quiet, which is not something I'm often accused of being, but I know some of the videos are a bit quiet at times, so I'm hoping this will improve it. Unless the ear pod falls out, then we'll see how it goes. Okay, so, as I said, we have finished looking at converting from fractions, decimals and percentages. We are now just looking at percentages on their own, but we're looking at percentages of amounts this week. So for example, if I said 20% of 370, that's what we're going to be looking at. Okay, we're going to start nice and simple. So, as always, we start with our imposters. Pause the video now, see if you can work out which ones are the imposters. Off you go. And you're back with me. So, I'm going to start at the top left. We're going to look at 15, take away 3.45. So, 15, I'm going to line that 3 up in the correct place. Now, the 3 should line up underneath the 5 because they are both in the ones column. Now, we have the same problems we've had before. We have some gaps, so we have some blank spaces. We're going to fill those with placeholders, like so. We could put one here, I'm not going to worry. Now we do what we always do, which is we take away. So we can't do 0 take away 5, so we're going to need to borrow all the way from over here. 4, that becomes 10. That then goes down to 9, so that that can become 10. 10 take away 5 is 5. 9 take away 4 is 5. 4 take away 3 is 1, and 1 take away nothing is 1. 11.55. We agree, therefore grey is not the imposter. Okay, next one, 13 times 8 is 104. Okay, nice and straightforward with this one. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 10 is 80. Add them together. 4, 10, 104. We're correct. Yellow is not the imposter either. The next one is blue. We've got 32.45 equals 30. Okay, 30, yep, I agree. Add 2. Well, that would be 32. Add 0.04. Add 0.5. Well, no, that's wrong, because it should be 0.4. Add 0.05. They've got them swapped around. So blue is the first of our imposters. Next one is purple. Purple says 2/11, 2 over 11. Add 1 over 3 equals 17 over 33. Okay, so let's check if that's correct. So, at the moment we can't add them because the denominators are different, as we know. So that's fine. We will change them. Now, the easiest way to do that is to times them by each other. So we're going to turn both of them into 33. How do we get from 11 to 33? Well, we times it by 3. So we do the same to the top, which would then become 6. Put our add in so that we remember. How do we go from 3 to 33? Well, we times it by 11. So we do the same to the top. Now we can add them together. Denominators stay the same. And we add the numerators. 17 over 33. Lovely, that one's correct. Next one is orange. Now for orange, you need to know something called BODMAS. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail because that's a lesson on its own. But basically, it tells you the way things have to be done in a certain order. Okay? And what you need to know for this is that you do the thing in brackets first. So whatever's inside the brackets, you do that first. So you do 22 take away 8, which is 14, times 4, which is 56. So the answer is 56, so orange is not the imposter. Next one over here, 5,521. Add 2,999. Now you could do this by column addition and you would get the right answer. But there is an easier way and you can do it mentally. 2,999 is very nearly 3,000. It's only one away. Make a little note of that. I could add 3,000 onto this easily. It would become 8,521 because I'm just adding 3,000. But it wasn't 3,000, it was 2,999. I've added one too many. So I need to take one away. I added 3,000. That was one too many. So I took one away. So my final answer is 8,520, which is what they say on there. So therefore, I think that's black. Black is not the imposter. Okay, next one is green. Now green says 12.6, take away 7.7. So 12.6, take away 7.77. Make sure I drew my line. Now, we can't do that at the moment because we have a gap. So we're going to put the placeholder in there to help us. Now we do what we always do. We're going to have to borrow from here. 10 take away 7 is 3. 5 take away 7 we can't do, so again we're going to have to borrow. 15 take away 7 is going to be 8. Looking good so far. 1 take away 7 we can't do, so we borrow that from there. 11 take away 7 is 4. 4.83, 4.83. Green is not the imposter. Next one, 327 divided by 100 is 3.27. Yes, it is. That's lovely. Pink, 600 times 30 is 1,800. Okay. Well, the known fact that helps us is we know that 6 times 3 is 18. We know that. Well, how many zeros are there? There's 3 zeros, so there should be 3 extra zeros on the end. Are there 3 extra zeros? No, there's only 2. I can prove it because I can do it this way. Well, 0 times 600 is irrelevant. I put the 0 here. And now I can do 3 times 0, which is 0. 3 times 0, which is 0. And 3 times 6, which is a very badly drawn 18. But it'll be 18,000. So it's 18,000, not 1,800. So pink is the imposter. Last one to check, in case there's a third one. It says 3/7 divided by 5 equals, well, we don't have to worry about that yet because we're just checking. So, first problem. That is a whole number, not a fraction at the moment, which is going to make it impossible for us to do this. So, we need to turn it into a fraction. Any number as a fraction is itself over 1. So 5 is 5 over 1, 6 is 6 over 1, 17 is 17 over 1, etc, etc. Now, we have a divide. So we need to do our KFC, like we talked about before, not the takeaway. So, keep, flip, change. We keep this fraction, so that stays as 3/7. We flip the symbol to times. We change the fraction by swapping it over. Now we do what it says. 3 times 1 is 3. 7 times 5 is 35. When we're timesing, we do times the denominators, which I know is confusing because when we're adding and subtracting, we don't. But when we're timesing, we do. So the answer is 3/35, which is exactly what it says there. So that is not an imposter either. Okay. Lovely. On to the main lesson. So, to start, would you rather have 50% of £100 or a quarter of £400? Have a pause, see if you can work out which one you think you would prefer. Just to be clear, you're not getting either of them, but you know. Okay, so 50% of £100. We know 50% is the same as half, because we've looked at that last week. So half of £100 would be £50 because we divide it by 2. A quarter, we know, is the same as 25%. Now to find a quarter, we divide by 4. 1/4. 400 divided by 4 would be 100. I'm not going to even try and draw the pound symbol upside down. I can't really draw it properly anyway. So, we would prefer to have a quarter of £400 because that's £100 rather than half of 100 because that is £50. So, diving straight into the activity here, but you'll see why in a minute. Ruth says 50% is the same as a half. Yep, we just saw that. So when I want to find 50% of an amount, I divide the amount by the denominator, 2. Yeah, I would agree with that, because if we look back here, 50% is a half, and we did half of 100. Well, we got our answer by doing 100 divided by 2, which was £50. So I would agree with that. So based on that, 25% is the same as 1/4. So when I want to find 25% of an amount, I divide the amount by the denominator, which is 4. To find the fraction of the amount, or the percentage of the amount, it's the same as 1/4, a quarter. So to find it, we divide by the denominator, which is 4. Okay. So to show you what that would look like, I would write 25% is the same as 1/4. So when I want to find 25% of an amount, I divide the amount by the denominator, which is 4. To find 1/4, I divide by 4. 25% equals 1/4, so I would divide by 4. Okay. The next one is 10%. Well, 10%, pause the video and see if you can work it out. What is 10% as a fraction? We did this last week. What is 10% as a fraction? Okay, so 10% is equal to 1/10. 1/10. If we follow the same rule, to find 10% of an amount, we would divide by 10. Divide by 10, that looks like a 0. Divide by 10. So 1 quarter. 25% is a quarter, so we divide by the 4. 10% is a tenth, so we divide by 10. The next one is 1%. Well, 1% is equal to 1 over 100, because it's 1 out of 100, 1%. So what am I going to divide by to find 1%? If I wanted to find 1%, I'd divide by 100. Like so. So basically, you take your percentage. You think of what the fraction is. As long as it's 1 over something, to find it, you just divide by the denominator. Key rule, that only works if it's what we call a unit fraction, i.e. it's 1 over something, not 3 over something or 2 over something, 1 over something. If it is 1 over something, we can just divide by the denominator. So if the question was, I don't know, what is 10% of 40, for example? Well, 10% is the same as 1 over 10. So to find 10%, we divide by 10. So we would do 40 divided by 10, which would be 4. Okay? I'm just going to do one more because this is the most important part of this lesson. All right? And I can kind of have a sense that some people are going to be sat there going, he's talking Spanish again. No, that's later. Okay, or earlier if you watch that video first. Who knows? Right, so let's say if the question was find 25% of, I don't know, let's do 25% of 80. Now, 25% is the same as a quarter. It's a unit fraction, i.e. it's got 1 on the top. So to find 25%, we divide by the denominator, which is 4. So we divide 80 by 4, which would give me, well, 80 divided by 4 would be a very badly drawn 20. So 25% of 80 is 20, because we've divided by 4, which was the denominator of the fraction. Okay? So, I've done activity 1 for you, pretty much. Let's move on. There's the answers, if you did them in your books. Okay. So we've got this one here. And the question is, we've got 204, and we want to find 50% of it. Now we know that 50% is the same as a half. And we can see it here. It's halfway along. So to find 50%, we know that 50% is the same as a half. So what are we going to divide by? We divide by the denominator. The denominator is 2. So we do 204 divided by 2. You may be able to do that in your head. If not, you could do it bus stop. It doesn't really matter. But I know it's 102, which is there. That would also be 102. And if you added it together, you'd get your 100%, which is 204. Can you have a go at this one then? 50% of 408. Okay, so you've got the same thing again. We're still dividing by 2 because it's a half, but we're dividing 408 by 2. So 408 divided by 2 would equal 204. And there we go. 50% of 806, again, you just halve it. which would be 403. Now, the next one is 25% of 408. We've already looked at 25%. It's no scarier. It's split into 4 parts this time. So we're going to divide it by 4, because 25% is the same as a quarter, which means we divide by 4. 408 divided by 4 is 102. Can you have a go at that one? 25% of 804. So you're going to take 804 and divide it by 4, because there are 4 parts, and 25% is the same as a quarter. Okay, you should have got 201 for that one. 25% of 404, again, you divide by 4, because 25% is the same as a quarter. 101. And again, 808 is 202. Okay then, activity 2, please. You've got 2 questions to have a go at. You've got 50% of 648, and you've got 25% of 848. Remember, 50% we're going to divide by 2, because there are 2 parts. 25% we're going to divide by 4, because there are 4 parts. Off you go. Okay, and you're back with me. So, first one there would be 324, and the second one is 212. All right, so we're just moving on a little bit here now. It's no more complex. We're just dividing by a different number. We're starting with 10%. Now, we know that 10% is the same as 1 over 10. And there are 10 parts, if we look here. So because there are 10 parts, we're going to divide by 10. That's nice and easy. We do 200 divided by 10, because there are 10 parts. So the answer is going to be 20. Have a go at that one then. 10% of 400, still 10 parts, so we're going to divide by 10. And the answer is 40. 10% of 500, again, nice and easy, would be 50. And now we're moving into 1%. Again, no trickier. No trickier. We just need to remember that 1% is the same as 1 over 100. We know we divide by the denominator, so we're going to divide by 100. So we take 200, we divide it by 100, which would give us an answer of 2. 400, again, we're going to divide it by 100, which would give us 4. Same with 500, would give us 5. Okay, and that's just an application there of all the different ones. I'm going to move on a little bit, speed on up. Okay, so activity 3 is quite a lengthy one here. You've got a variety of different fractions of amounts. Now, some of them may go into decimals, and that's absolutely fine. It might be like 7.5, for example. So if I can try and spot one that I know will be a decimal, I would look at 25% of 50. So 25% of 50 would mean dividing 50 by 4, because 25% is the same as a quarter. Now, you can't divide 50 by 4, not equally anyway. So you do 4 into 50, well that goes, 4 into 5 goes once, with 1 left over. 4 into 10 goes twice, and that would leave us with 2 left over. Now that 2, we need to invent a 0 for that 2 to go to. Okay, so let me just show you that again. We did 4 into 5, which goes once. 4 into 10 goes twice, but we've got 2 left over. Now, because we've got that 2 left over, we're going to invent a 0 for it to sit on. We put a decimal point. We now do 4 into 20, and that goes 5 times. So the answer is 12.5. Okay. Have a go then at solving those, please. Okay, and here are your answers. There. All right, moving on. So, this is what we call the reverse. And I'm going to aim this mainly at my group. So for everyone else, if you've had a go up till now, that's fantastic. That was the main aim of today, is you to be able to do 50, 25, 10 and 1% of a number. That's your objective. For my group and anyone that wants to have a challenge, this is the sort of thing you're going to have a look at. So it says here 50% of a number is 12. Okay. And it's asking me what the original number is. I'm going to draw myself a little bar model to help me now. So 50% of a number is 12, but I don't know what the original number is. Well, if 50% is 12, then this must also be 12. And if I added them together, oh, that's a very badly drawn box. If I added them together, I'd get my total, which is 24. The next one, 25% of a number is 11. So I'm going to have a box split into 4. %25 is 11. Well, if that's 11, then that must be 11, and so must that, and so must that. If I add them together, I get 44. Okay, have a go at the other two then. And then your activity is here, my group, and anyone that wants to have a go. Okay, so that's everything for today's lesson. It's been quite a long one, I think. It feels like it has been. My group, and again, anyone wants to have a go, there is another challenge activity that I will post on Seesaw for you to respond to, however you choose to, verbally, with a video. Pardon me. However you want to. We saw some fantastic responses to the last one, so please have a go at it. Someone won the Leadership Award for having a go at one of my maths challenges, so that's an incentive for you. Okay. For now, thank you very much for listening. See you soon.